Yeah, this piece, Granny Got Too Big for the Church, is actually one of my favorite pieces that I've ever made. It was such a painting to do for sure. I've had so many different visitors to that time when it was in my studio, and it was just so cool to be able to really have that piece in my space and really be able to see it come together. It almost felt like I was recreating something in my space. And the piece itself was based exactly on my grandmother, my great grandmother, not the woman who was in the photo before. Actually, I'm lucky to have two grandmothers who were big in the church. This was my great grandmother, and the piece was when I was painting the piece, I really wanted to be able to almost reimagine my grandmother because she was such a pillar in her church, and she was also a pillar for the spirituality in my family. I feel like so to be able to almost depict her after her death in a way to where she was revisiting a space that she cared about so much, but being able to kind of give it a whimsical feel, being able to give it a joyous life is something that I feel like that part of hers almost deserved. I felt like it was something to where I really wanted to be able to imagine her in my world and in my artistic world. So that was really cool. And yeah, Water Warning from my homegirl, that was really special too because it was so reminiscent on how it felt when I was growing up. I went to high school around like 2012 through 2016, so that time period was really special to me to be able to depict that the fashion during that time period. I remember it was like a really big thing to be able to do like a rugby look or something like that, and to be able to depict those women and the girls who I grew up with, their sassiness, their joy, their character, how they looked and how I remember them to look, contrasted with the religious thing and that spiritual thing was just so important, and it felt like something that needed to be done. And when I saw it completed, it just spoke to me so much. It's beautiful.
Next, I sort of wanted to show and talk about some of the curation and design of the exhibit. Your view of Intern. So I'm going to show the works. This is Your View, which sort of greets the visitor as they come into the museum to see the elevator. Here is Water to Wine, which I was sad that we weren't able to include the bubbles on the actual elevator. And these are the main works inside the elevator. Could you sort of talk about how you had the idea to create this sort of these people sort of in the elevator and surrounding them?
Yeah, sure. When I first came across the idea, when I was approached with the idea to do a piece in the elevator, I was really kind of more than interested. I was kind of like in full scientific mode, almost trying to figure out how I could make this like the coolest thing ever. The space itself reminded me of. I almost thought of it like when you walk into a dressing room and it's like a three-sided mirror and you can see yourself like 1,000 times back. And I've never seen that in a painting before, but even more so, I wanted to almost feel like how do I take it a step further and put the person into this space, almost like recreating that space that you would have in the dressing room. So to be able to do that in an artistic space was really cool because it almost felt like you're a part of like an army of people, or you're almost a part of like a group. Even if you weren't intending to be a part of the group, you're just a part of the family, which is really cool. I felt like the space itself is so inviting and so like grounded, and I've heard it a couple times. It feels like a hug. It's just so memorable. I feel like I really love it.
I was really happy when you had that idea because it does feel like very complete to have an elevator and have these people surrounding you. Because the elevator is sort of a non-traditional space for art, but I really loved how it turned out.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And also this clouds, I was inspired by some of like when I was looking at your paintings in general, just the way you painted clouds really stood out to me. Also, like in the inspiration photos, the photos you took, like I feel like you really captured the feeling of that, and I really wanted to connect it to dreaming the skies.
Yeah, I really love clouds so much. landscape paintings are something that I grew up doing when I was like in school. So to be able to add figures to my landscape paintings is just really cool because it's just something that I've always loved to do. I love taking pictures of clouds. I love like stopping the car to take a picture of clouds. So to anything that has to do with clouds, I'm literally obsessed with. So being able to depict them and also have this in the elevator is just so cool. I love it.
This piece, which is the final exterior upstairs on the elevator. So I sort of wanted to talk about the design process. Like when we were first starting out with the project in class, we were going off of existing works. This is sort of a challenge in the elevator because like how do you put these 2D paintings into the elevator space? But one of the ideas for the exterior elevator doors was to have this painting Two Brothers and then this button. Unfortunately, it didn't work because of sort of the scale of them. But yeah, and then I sort of want to pass it on to Autumn.
First, I wanted to say we wanted the fist bump to work so bad. That was super cool. With the water to wine, we did have to tweak this as well. To make the figures more life size, we did have to take those elements out, but we were able to use them on a project later. I'll bring that up to us later. Um, with If There's a Will, There's a Way, they were able to come together on the door the way we wanted the fist bump to. So that was fun. Here's the elevator outside if you haven't seen it already. I'm going to talk a little about the title treatment. So when Sydney told me the name, I was so excited because she gave me the complete creative freedom to do whatever I wanted with it. So I chose a bold typeface. With me being from Cincinnati, Ohio, I was always around bold fonts, bold lettering for sports like the Cincinnati Reds and the Bengals and things. So I'm just a bold font person, but I wanted it to be bold without taking away from the art. So we went with a bold typeface with round forms, and it ended up being perfect. We did play with the color some, but the solid white did the job without taking away. There's the interior elevator door. If you haven't seen it yet, Sydney came up with some interactive questions. So when the elevator door is closed, you're able to interact and actually put yourself in the art, ask you questions. So you'll be able to take in and think of the art in a different way. Everybody takes art in a different aspect, and I feel like these questions really put you in the art. It's already a intimate space. So with the people surrounding you and the questions, I feel like this is a very fun touch that Sydney decided to add. These are the adjusted figures. As you can see, we still kept the blue tone just because it's cohesive with the clouds that are on the elevator. And it still gives that surreal feel that we were going for. For the upper level mural, I wanted to keep the feel of the landscape that you have on the left, but still be able to read the text. So we kept a gradient behind, then I'll pass it over to Dylan to talk about that.
Sure, it's something.
I wanted to point out, I feel like when we were talking, like, and just looking at your paintings in general, the fashion really stands out to me because they're in very bold outfits. And I love the silhouettes. And in this piece in particular, when you talked about like sort of the figuring out individuality while in a school uniform, that really spoke to me. So can you talk a bit about how like fashion interacts with your art and how that informs it?
Yeah, sure. I love fashion so much, and I also love incorporating fashion within my artwork. I feel like it's so interesting to be able to almost give the characters like their own story. But it's also interesting because a lot of the characters that I draw are almost like an embodiment of my artwork itself. So I'm kind of recreating people how I would draw them in my world, like if they were to get dressed in my world. So if I almost imagine like a group of people like that have like the same fashion sense, which is kind of identical to mine a little bit, selfishly. But I do love bright colors. I love almost like childish like motifs. Like I love like a good like star, like a smiley face, or just anything that like kind of is like a pop of color. I also really like stripes and things that like bring personality to the artwork itself. Like even with this piece, Water to Wine. Um, it's almost like a recreation of what I would imagine these people to be, even though they're just fictional characters. But to be able to give them their own sense of style almost gives them like a whole background and a whole story that I feel like is more imaginative and makes you kind of like more inquisitive with who these people are, and maybe even like make you think of somebody who you know.
I feel like looking around, that's one of the interpretive questions in the elevator because I just thought it would be fun for people of all ages and even children to look around and see, really notice the fashion and the characters. Sort of jumping off of that, in the future there will be an art lab and a family Sunday with creating paper dolls that may sort of inspired by the fashion of Dylan's art, led by us both.
I'm excited. Yeah, that'll be really fun. I love it so much. We'll do like a whole installation and a whole project with you guys, which I'm really excited about. Sydney was really amazing in bringing up this idea of being able to kind of make puppets out of my artwork and being able to kind of make customized outfits for everybody, which is really cool. So I feel like it would be a good space for you to kind of bring out your most imaginative colors, your most imaginative outfits, and being able to make a design out of that.
Also, I want to spotlight some of the design by Autumn because I feel like it really stands out. And I was happy that you were able to like use these bubbles from Water to Wine.
Yes, so we wanted the social media tiles to be cohesive but not give away too much information. We still wanted you, it was more of a sneak peek type of feel. But being able to incorporate the water to wine elements made me so happy. Also, we wanted to add a little sense of motion to these. So with the carousel, you can kind of see the star kind of moving for that surreal feeling, that dreamlike feeling. Um, Overall, I believe that this may be my favorite out of everything that we designed. Just because I love water wine. It was my favorite out of all of the pieces.
I feel like they really do capture the vibe of your artwork in this exhibition.
Yeah, it was so cool. I love how like it's interesting all the pieces that we used for the whole installation like are cohesive, but I made these at totally different points throughout last year, so it's really cool to be able to see those come together in like a cohesive space, and they all like are just so synchronized. It's amazing. It's almost like they all tell a story as well, so to be able to see it put together is really cool.
Also, I wanted to spotlight the artwork that you have in the gift shop. We have a lot of amazing prints, water to wine and full imprints, which I thought was really cool. And also these hats that you're making.
Of course, yeah. I have so many things available in the gift shop right now. It's so amazing. I hope that everybody can stop in there and see them. And also, I've created these amazing hats that are identical to the pieces and to the identical to the artwork that I used in the elevator. I was really inspired by the piece itself, so I wanted to be able to almost give my audience a chance to be able to wear the pieces that were in the painting and wear the pieces that were in the exhibition itself. So I created a bunch of these different hats, and I'm doing an entire roll up for these, so you guys are kind of getting like a sneak peek of the pieces before they even come to the first.
So to close out, I just wanted to ask, so what was your favorite part of this, of working on this exhibit? And is there anything you're excited about in the future?
My favorite thing about working on this project was definitely being able to see my artwork in different spaces. I feel like as an artist, it's really kind of like a traditional thought to be able to see your artwork on like a wall or maybe in the house or something like that, or some type of print or any type of like interesting way that people put their art on things, but to put it in the elevator was almost like mind blowing to be able to not only put my art in the elevator, but then also to be able to utilize the space and almost make like a space within a space. So that was really cool to be able to think about my artwork in like a functional way as well. I really love that.
I believe my favorite part was probably the collaboration. I love working with you guys. So I freelance graphic design, so usually my feedback comes directly from the client. I don't really hear too much from anybody else. But Dylan, she's gonna tell it how it is, like no, absolutely not. And hearing directly from the artist during the process is actually so helpful. And then Sydney keeping us on track as far as our deadlines, and then being able to talk to Madeline. Madeline is the head designer. She helped me throughout the internship with design hacks that I had no idea about, just making my life easier. I loved working with you guys.
I was really happy to be working with you also. My favorite part was really seeing your work blown up like big in the elevator and being able to see all the texture and how that looks because like on a painting, like it's just a different experience.
I agree. Yeah, the piece specifically in the elevator, I can't stop looking at it. It's almost like I just want to like go take a nap in there and like come back to and like go back home tomorrow. It's so cool. I'm just blown away, and the texture in the painting is almost it's so mesmerizing because the piece that is the main image, the actual painting itself was only about 20 inches. So to be able to see the painting being blown up on that scale is really amazing because yeah, these paintings are only about like maybe this big. So to be able to see them full scale and be able to take something that was just like miniature almost and then make it life size is something that I am so happy that I was able to do here. It's just such a cool opportunity. I really love it.
So I just wanted to thank Michael Ewing and Lakeisha Calvin, my teacher, in this project. It was a really good experience working on this project with you all. I was really happy to be able to showcase your work.
Sweet. Thanks, Sadie. I appreciate it. Thanks, Autumn. It was cool.
So if there are any questions, we'd love to answer them.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'd love to right here, please.
You mentioned how your family was a really big inspiration for all of these pieces. Have you ever been like have they seen these pieces and had their reaction to being the inspiration for something that's now so lifestyle?
I have, yeah, my family loves my artwork. Shout out to them. They're really cool. I love, my dad is a really cool person. He's like, my dad actually gave me the really cool idea of doing an art show in Russellville, Kentucky. So we're planning that right now to be able to like invite, just like, it's a small town, to be able to have like that be a part of their history as well and a part of my history. It would be really cool. I love being able to share my artwork with my family because they're such like a huge inspiration. So whenever I can, I let them know that they're a part of it as well. Yeah, it's cool.
Has this always kind of been your style since you've done art? Like, would you like floaty aspect, or is it something that you found recently, or did something happen that kind of changed your style, or has it always been like this?
My theme has pretty much stayed the same. I have kind of always created characters within a like a joyous and artistic and almost like a colorful world. That hasn't changed. But what has changed is the actual process of making the artwork, like the style in which I put the paint on the canvas has changed. And that's only changed just because I was able to kind of find a way to make my artwork look more dreamy just by kind of using like less paint almost. I really like watercolor and I really like being able to kind of give the feel of watercolor. So although I don't do watercolor particularly, I like to almost play with like the looseness and how loose acrylic paint can get. So I really just like I embody the dream like and the whimsicalness of my uh, artwork within the actual painting process, which is really cool. I'm like super light-handed, which is really cool. I kind of take my time, I meditate on it, so it's really cool.
Could you talk more about the characters that we're seeing in Going Up Yonder and yeah, like how you chose who you chose?
Yeah, so this piece was so cool because like the actual idea behind it was to be able to bring together people in a space and to be able to kind of have them traveling up and down within this elevator space. So once I had that idea, I then kind of moved on to who the people would be within this space. And the people who kind of moved me the most were actually the characters which I had in my paintings last year in 2025. So if you could even notice the two people on the right side that have the two stripes on, these are actually from the painting here with you, which is the hero image for the exhibition. So I was really recreating these people who have already been in my artwork and being able to put them in this new piece, which is almost like an imaginative and transformative space that they'll all be able to kind of like have a reunion with each other, kind of proverbially, because not only were these two people, but also this character right here with the stripes on was also a part of a painting called Three Z's that I did last year as well. So I was able to put all of these characters that I did in one single space, which is really cool, and I haven't done that with my artwork before.
So impressed with everything, Dylan. I'm such a fan, and Autumn now, I'm such a fan of your work too. I absolutely love how you guys came together and it was like so seamless. It felt like y'all have worked together before, and I love that you like represent your city with your font. Like I totally get that as a sports fan. That was really cool. I guess for you, Dylan, my question is the titles. I think that's what intrigues me the most. Water to Wine in Front of My Homegirl. Like that sounds like a song title to me and Going Up Yonder. So I guess my question for you is like, how do you come up with the titles, and at what point do they come to you, or like, is that when it's finished, or is it like kind of during the process?
Sweet, sweet. So basically, I love that question. My titles are so interesting to me because as much as I would love to have like an idea and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the title of it, I can't even think of a title sometimes until the piece has been done for like a week. I have to literally just sit in front of the piece and almost ask the piece what the name of it is. So Water to Wine in Front of My Homegirl, it was so interesting, like the piece itself, was like this imaginative space that I had of almost like, okay, I went to Hillsborough High School for a little bit. So like Hillsborough to me was like such an interesting place to me. It's like it's in Green Hills, but then kind of like people from the projects are there, and it's like there's gangs there, but then there's also like preppy people. It was such an interesting space. It was truly like such an interesting space. So to be able to depict that and like, and I was like, okay, but what if these people, what if these girls who I grew up with, like what if they knew Jesus, like what if they knew him personally? So I was like, how do these people, how would they act, and then what would their water to wine look like? So I was able to kind of like put it in a water bottle because that's how, like that's what we would do in school is like transport drinks in there. So it was like all these different things and all these different pieces of the story kind of like make the title itself. I'm just kind of like picking different words and different motifs specifically. But it was interesting also with the Going Up Yonder piece. I was listening to a lot of gospel music when I was making this, and the Going Up Yonder specifically was really interesting because I felt like in the elevator you almost like going into a space with these people. So to be able to like really think about the name and to be able to name it Going Up Yonder, which is so special because it was almost just like a a reflection on my own spirituality and also a shout out to the church, also a shout out to like my grandmother, also a shout out to like the sanctuary, which is really cool. And I felt like the name itself kind of makes you think like, where are these people going? Where are they going to? Are they going up? Are they going down? Are they going to the side? Are they going to a space? Are they going with each other? Do they know each other? And I felt like I didn't really want to give this space too much. I mean, the piece too much of a specific name because I felt like it really spoke for itself. So yeah, I really just love it. I just love these so much for sure. Yes.
I'm good. So, with being a young African American
Yes.
in the South, which making art, what was the turning point? Like, what made you make shit and stuff. What made you make it? Like, when did you, what led to it?
It's so cool. I feel like the space itself is already so wonderful. Whenever I pass by a barn, I'm like, it's just so interesting the way that we use our architecture. Maybe I'm the only person who sees this, but to be able to see a red space up against a blue sky and a green grass, it's like the perfect picture to me. So to be able to kind of like recreate that all the time is almost like it feels so necessary to me. I'm like, the South itself is so whimsical and it's so funny and like people are just like crazy and I'm just like, it's just, yeah, it's just so cool. So like the South itself is so whimsical I feel like, to be honest, it's just like a taboo space also to be in. Like to be able to know the South is to be able to like love the South. I feel like you really have to be here. You really have to kind of like know the ins and outs to be able to be like, no, like I really love it here, and also I understand it. And I feel like my paintings almost speak to people who understand it, but also speak to people who don't understand it. It almost makes it like inquisitive for the people who don't understand to be like, wow, like I didn't know that this could be so whimsical. I didn't know that overalls and farm life and boots and tractors are even interesting, let alone cinematic in a way. So to be able to give that life in the way that I see it, it's just so beautiful. And I'm like, just enamored. It's just so cool. I love it. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. This is really big. I really love you guys all so much for coming. This was just so special and just so beautiful, for sure.
Again, special congratulations to all of you. This was incredible. On behalf of the entire first team, I want to just thank all of you. This has been a really great iteration of this project. And I want to celebrate you, Dylan, because you're the first artist of the Art Elevator iterations that created a really site-specific work for the project. And you can really tell, I remember you coming and measuring and figuring out how it was and having those sessions is beautiful. And just to remind the audience, we're still open. So if you want to go check out the exhibit, let us know, or we can make sure we can take care of you and get you a pass to go do that. But also, if you buy a print today, you'll get it signed. So if you have a chance to pop into the gift shop, check out that. Also look out for the social media. There will be some drops that Dylan's coming with, so y'all got some sneak peeks of that. Um, but again, just celebrating all of you, hoping the best for all of you in this next chapter and whatever you're doing creatively. And thank all of you for coming out again. So let's give them another round of applause.